Hello, everyone. This is Sykes Music Studio. Today is the finale episode of our sequencer tutorial. Yay! We've done quite a bit of work here. Now, there's quite a bit of work left to go, but the problem here is that the issues are getting complicated to the point where they're going to take a lot longer for me to fix them. And they're just more complicated to explain. So I think this is a good stopping point for our basic tutorial here, but I'll continue to work on this patch, and yeah, we'll continue as we usually do. We'll start by taking a look at our user interface. We'll create some beautiful music, and then we'll hop into our patch and see what has changed. Now, as you can see, we've moved a lot of our overcrowding from our main panel over here to a new panel. This is going to be used to indicate features that are not fully implemented yet. Now, meter is fully implemented, although it's having some interesting interactions with our loop rhythms. Loop meter is not working at all right now. I don't really know what's going on with it, but once we pop the hood, we'll take a look at all of this. And our form loop is now fully working. As far as I can tell. I'm sure there is. I'm going to press play in like 2 seconds here, and we're going to find out that it's actually not working, but that's how it goes. So yeah, let's just go ahead and make some beautiful music, and then we will hop into our patch. Now we're going to go ahead. This is going to be a bit of a longer demonstration because we want to hear the form looping. I have it set to a rondo currently, so it's going to go A, B, A, C, A, B, A. And when I tried this before, it took about 2 to 3 minutes to go through the whole loop. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a longer demonstration here. In the future, with form loops, I'd like to have a toggle that will select between different forms. But rondo kind of covers a lot of them. You can get ternary with the first ABA. You can get double binary or binary by just the first two, the A and the B. And then you can just duplicate that a lot. So rondo is really good for covering a lot of bases there. You can get a lot of different forms with a rondo. You'll just have to kind of edit it, but it would be cool to have a selector so that you don't have to manually do that. But for now, this works just fine, as I hope. And yeah, let's check it out. All right, I think we have fully looped, so let's hop into Ableton. Oops, that is OBS. Let's hop into Ableton and check out our MIDI here. So I'm going to go ahead and that's going to be a problem. All right, well, I'm going to stop our thing here. Can I double click? No, okay. Well, that is going to be a bit of an issue here. But as you can see, now I'm not entirely sure. This is an issue that's been present throughout our patch, and I'm not entirely sure what is going on here. But as you can see, our initial A is going to be very different from our next A, but at least in terms of register, and there are clearly some issues left. But as you can see, let's actually go ahead and start. No, actually we do need to start here. So this is our first A. And then we have our B. Let's see. Yeah, the register is making it hard to actually look at the MIDI here, which is unfortunate. But this MIDI is very similar to this MIDI. All of this MIDI is very similar outside of this one where the register is an issue. So what I've noticed is every other reset kind of is similar. So you can see that our fourth A is similar to our second A, and our first A is similar to our third A outside of our initial weird register issues there. And then our B's are going to be slightly different, but again, they're the same in terms of the seed. It's just the reset is causing issues. So I got to figure that out. And then here's our C. And we were going to start a new C over here, and you can tell that that really thick part there is similar to that really thick part there. So it's working, but again, there's still quite a few issues that we need to flush out over time. Now let's go ahead and hop into our patch here and check it out. So let's talk about meter before we do anything else, because I didn't have it turned on, so I know that doesn't really give you a whole lot of a sense of how it's working here, but I'm going to go ahead now and turn this off. We don't need to hear it. I just need to show you what it looks like at this point. So let me go ahead and turn this on, and we should have numbers going. Yes, okay, perfect. So let's hop in here, and why did this change? That is concerning, and it's also not doing what I want it to do. Oh my goodness. Oh, because I don't have it turned on. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, our point system is now working. I found out the issue was I didn't have now this is also supposed to be a float here. I don't know why that, I did change that earlier, so I don't know why it's not a float, but anyway, as you can see, it is taking points from our, the points that we have allocated, and once it hits 0, it resets to 4. So that is a strong indication that our meter is working. Really the only, pretty much, let's see, did I change anything else? It's really hard to remember what all I changed here. I think there was, well, let's just go through it. So we have our point system and our incoming rhythms. We're giving those points and subtracting from our, let's see, is that the, it looks like from our denominator there. And our numerator is going into here and determining how many points we have total. And so our denominator is basically setting our what the point values are being subtracted from, and then we have our to determine what the point value is, and then this is going to go through our trigger, and it's going to first load up into this. Oh yes, I did change something here. That's right. So I separated, this was equal or less than, and then I separated it so that it would check first rather than check first to see if it was less than 0 to fix, because it was going negative. So now it's not going negative because I'm checking if it was negative first, and then I'm resetting it so that it is no longer negative. So here, if we find out that it's negative, we send it a 16th note because that's the smallest note we have, and it can't subtract to be less than 0 if that is the smallest possible value. And then if it wasn't smaller, it will come through here and then check to see if it is equal to 0, and if it is, it restarts the process. So yeah, the meter is working, but there is some weird interactions between meter and loop rhythms where they don't sync up right. So what I think I have to do is set it so that when meter is on, basically what I'll do is have the meter option be in our rhythmic panel here, and then when you turn meter on, it hides all of our loop rhythms and only gives us metered things and doesn't allow us to interact with the loop rhythms. Now it's also having issues with loop meter, but loop meter is just not working at this moment. So I did replace it with a one of the, yeah, that is very much not working. Oh, here we go. I did replace it with the loop meter because I was kind of building that from scratch and it wasn't working, but then I replaced it with loop meter, and then loop it was loop melody, and I changed it to loop meter and got rid of a bunch of things that were only useful for a loop melody. But as you can see here, it's not properly loading the correct number of pitches here. So this would be an 8th note, a quarter note, 16th, 16th. So that's two quarter notes. That's a quarter note. And then we have a 16th note. So this is basically giving us 3 quarter notes and a 16th note instead of 4 quarter notes of value. So it's not, somewhere along the line it's getting cut off before it finishes loading, or something is going on here, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. But it's, again, it is basically just the loop melody, but we are doing a slightly different check to determine when it's loading things versus when it is playing the loaded stuff. So we're basically taking from our meter here, and if once our meter hits 0, once this is 1, as you just saw there, it's supposed to then flip to the other side and bang out on this counter as opposed to fill the collection. And I have some metering messages here to try and figure out how things are working. I'm really not sure at all why this is cutting off before it's supposed to, but we'll have to figure that out at a later time. Now, I did end up, for our form loop, switching our reset to its own specific reset, and that has dramatically improved how our form loop works. I don't know if I changed anything else in the actual form loop. I don't think so. I think I really just separated the main reset and the form loop reset, and that just basically was all we needed to do. Other than that, we didn't change too much. I mean, I've just been working on meter and loop metered rhythms, and it's getting close. I mean, it's definitely better than it was in our previous video here, but yeah, there's definitely something funky going on here. So we'll have to keep playing with it. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think as long as you stick to our main regions here and don't play too much with the, or I mean, you can play with the unimplemented features, but they will not work as intended at the moment. But as long as you stick to these features, it's going to give you a reasonably solid piece with fairly minimal editing. Now, obviously, when you're working with a sequencer like this, you're going to come back into this MIDI and, this is in the wrong register. So you raise that up an octave, or, you're going to tweak the notes a little bit to taste there. But it is getting much closer to a sequencer where you can just hit the on button and let it go, and it will produce effectively a standalone piece. So I'm quite happy with it. I hope you are too. I hope this was a fun and informative series for you all. This sequencer, what I'm planning on doing with this is anyone who is subscribed to my Patreon will receive a download for this patch, for the sequencer. And I'm still going to have to figure out. There is a way to build it as a standalone, so I'm gonna play around with that and see if I can get it so that it will work on DAWs that are not Ableton. But yeah, if you're subscribed to the Patreon, you can receive this patch. You can. I'll also set it in the store for a $10 or something. Nothing too expensive or whatever, but if you just would prefer to buy the patch, that will be an option as well. And I really appreciate your support for my channel and for this series. It really means a lot to me, and I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.